Right, so we're now on to the next stage of our baked Alaska. Set your cameras away. Right, so next stage of our baked Alaska. Alright, so what we're going to do a jacond sponge. So basically a jacond sponge, for those of you who don't know, is basically an almond sponge. Alright, similar to what that was as hazelnut, this is almond. And they have a meringue going through it as well, excuse me, as well as a bit of a sabayon. Alright, so most of everything you've worked with here, what you will do today, you've done before to a certain degree. Right, in this bowl here, I've got my flour, plain flour, straightforward, and my almonds. Alright, so they're going in. As always, make sure there's no excess lumpage and nothing untoward in there. With the almonds, because they're fairly coarsely ground, they're not really fine. What I'll do is I'm just going to rub them through my fingers and then back in like so. Straightforward, yeah. So in there, happy days, almonds, flour. In with your butter, melted. So melted butter goes in as well. That's mixed to a paste, as it were. Classically, a jacond sponge would have a chocolate base that you would basically, on our mat, which I've got here, on my mat here, what I would do a chocolate paste first, thinly spread out, then I would put a pattern on it, whether it be with a fork, with a specialist tool, and get that in the freezer, and then basically the sponge mix over the top, bake, so when you turn it out you'll have your pattern on your jacond sponge. But because we're just using this for a baked Alaska, so I'm doing this, I don't need the chocolate base. Alright, right, so next stage, that bit's mixed, waiting. Next stage is a little bit of sabayon. So in here I have my eggs, whole eggs, go in, and my icing sugar. Note it is the icing sugar that goes in here, not the caster. And then again with the sabayon, for me, as I've always said, a little bits of liquid in there just to help it on its way. So we need to get this to the ribbon stage again, as always. So basically, off here, mix that up to a paste. And remember guys, for the full-time level 3s, this is your one of your synoptic dishes. So basically you need to work with speed and multitask. So whilst I'm waiting and doing my sabayon, because I've got a machine here, I'm going to be doing the egg white for meringue. Alright, remember again what I told you on the Saka. In the past, we've normally just jumped straight in, high speed with the meringue, and basically the meringue will have more of a chance of collapsing on you because you're not working the proteins. Nowadays, a lot of pastry chefs out there have decided to go with a slower method to begin with and then build the speed up. Like I say, if you're thinking about what you're doing in a synoptic situation, now you would be doing that, and that something else will be on the go. It's what we do as chefs. Like I say, we're just whisking away with the sabayon. Got a nice ribbon stage, nice and pale. Whilst the egg whites are mixing up. And mixing this. Remember to control your heat, control your gas. Don't move it around if you're using a solid top. two stages, getting paler and lighter now. Constant whisking, nice and pale aeration. Key quality point of a good jacond sponge would be nice and flexible, so that's why it's used as the outer casing of mousses, of moulds on baked Alaskas, etc., because it's flexible and it's easy shaped. Right, the egg whites are coming to a soft beat, so I'm going to go in with the sugar. Because it's such a small amount, I'm not putting it in batches. Put it straight in with the sugar. As you can see, the Sauvignon, that ribbon stage there, thereabouts. Couple more seconds. Like so. Now it's starting to get a little glossy in the meringue. Speed it up a little bit more now. And like I say, next stage for me is start adding the Sauvignon mix to the almond flour butter mix. First batch, small amount, make sure it's nice and evenly mixed, smooth pasting. Loosen all them ground almonds up, loosen up that butter. Like so, happy days. Then in with the next third. Again, a little bit more light now, a little lightly now. You can see, mixing it in nice and evenly. And last but not least, last third in there. Voila. Beautiful. And then mix that last bit in, like so. Here we go. And melt spoon now. Make sure I get all the lumps out. Right, so meringue done, off, tap. Like so. because you've nice and gently whisked them up to begin with, they should hold a lot better now. So like so, as I always do, put them to begin with to help loosen that mix. Aerate. Got 2 trays with half sill pats on each. That's a bonus of having a pastry chef for a wife. She buys things for the house that she might use because she uses them at work. So it's a bit of a bonus. If you're looking for the likes of these, you can go on to Nisbets, you can go on to Amazon and the like, and you can be able to get all the equipment if you're wishing to sort of upgrade your pastry section within your own kitchen. Depends on how much you work from home realistically. I'd say mixing them nice and light, aerated. Remember, get down to the bottom of the bowl. Yeah, nothing worse than finding that you've got half the bloody mix still unmixed on the bottom because you weren't fastidious in your mixing of the bottom of your bowl. Last bit in, happy days. Work that in nicely. Like so. Beautiful. Then out with the trays. Like so. Might only need one.